In this video we'll be discussing if and why your altcoin positions are safe. Should you be worried? Should you capitulate? Is it a Bitcoin-only cycle? Or is all this normal where we're yet again on the precipice of massive parabolic gains? You know what, why waste time? Let me answer that right now. No, I'm not worried about altcoins. No, I'm not capitulating. No, it's not a Bitcoin-only cycle. And yes, I think altcoins are still on the verge of delivering absurd 10, 20, 50x's. I'll now be telling you why, and I promise this is an alpha-packed one that you're going to enjoy quite a bit by the end. Make sure you're subscribed because I promise you it'll be difficult finding this type of content elsewhere. And also, I know how sick all of you are with all these exchanges going KYC, especially if you're from those heavily restricted countries like the USA, Canada, or the UK. That is exactly why I've partnered with the Fair Desk Crypto Exchange, as it's one of the few legit places left where you can trade crypto like on a Bybit or Binance, but without the need to KYC or even use a VPN. They also have one of the best copy trading programs in the space. As you can see, the 90-day performance by some traders I use like Wealth by Trading have been pretty ridiculous. Can't really go wrong with some easy passive income. Plus, with the link in description you'll get VIP 1 status, be eligible for $100 weekly giveaways with just a trade, and up to $100k in deposit bonuses. Like I said, a lot are worried about their altcoin positions. I'm seeing capitulation across the timeline. It's the exact same story every time. I tweeted this a couple months ago. The idea of a Bitcoin-only run, that altcoins won't catch a bid, and how you should study the altcoin blow-off tops in the first half of 2021. I now have the same exact feeling prior to that run. Elio Trades a couple days ago stated the same exact thing as I did with that tweet, him referencing the end of December 2020. The anti-altcoin sentiment during that time when Bitcoin was at the highs of 20,000. I was one of the few saying this a while back, but I'm glad other big figures are also now bringing this up. But vibes aside, let me give some reasons that make me confident about this. A big one is that traditional markets are raging, specifically the stock market. Remember, crypto is a beta on stocks. On a day-to-day or even week-to-week, I don't really care about how synced stocks and crypto are. Whether stocks lead, crypto lead, or they run in tandem, it doesn't really matter to me. I think the conversation is a bit obsolete. That is why until this moment I've never really brought this topic up. But the one time I do pay attention to stocks and crypto is the time period we're in right now. I believe you'll find what I'm about to show you next very interesting. Here I have the Meta Facebook chart on the monthly. I want to take you back to when COVID happened. So March 2020, Meta dipped into COVID and absolutely propelled off that wick into new highs. Once it made that high in August 2020, Meta ranged for 7 months until March 2021. So we have an idea of how Meta performed for that year from March 2020 to March 2021. Let's now look at Bitcoin during that same time frame. Bitcoin off its COVID wick low also bounced, but nowhere near as hard as Meta, where Meta put in that huge run into August. Bitcoin was kind of slow until August. But then after August, starting October, Bitcoin put in its huge parabolic run, printing nothing but green candles from 10 to 65,000. Care to guess what month Bitcoin put in its top? That'd be March 2021. But remember, during those months of Bitcoin going explosive, Meta wasn't moving at all. And in that earlier phase, Meta was going crazy, whereas Bitcoin was kind of stagnant. Let's take it a step further after March 2021. For Meta, it sort of began its second leg for that bull cycle. Meta from March to August again put in a very big run. Bitcoin during that same March to August 2021 time, however, had dumped considerably from its top. Meta then from September to November was in decline. Well, during that decline is when Bitcoin went for its second phase up of the bull market. We then went into the 2022 bear market where everything went down. Meta fell substantially, and as did Bitcoin. So in summary, what have we just seen? Well, the fact that during the last bull market, although it was an everything up bull market for both stocks and crypto, the two weren't really synced up in when they moved. This happens because we're having people make safe, easy, clean money from stocks pumping, who are then using those gains to speculate on Bitcoin and crypto for again that beta leverage play. And it's not just Meta, all the top stocks did the same thing in the last bull market. Look at the poster boy of this cycle, NVDA. Again, March 2020 strong bounce into highs. That September NVDA puts in its top. Bitcoin then takes off up until April 2021. Amazon same exact thing. Apple same exact thing. But this shouldn't really take anyone by surprise. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the whole GameStop saga of last cycle. We had people make astronomical gains on GameStop in January of 2021, where those profits were then funneled into Dogecoin, which starting January ran from half a cent to 70 and change. Just like how these degenerates rotate money, money is also rotated by whales between the blue chip stocks and Bitcoin. Bitcoin. You may be thinking, Payne, thanks for the knowledge, it's great, but what exactly does that have to do with right now? To which I'd say, if you hadn't noticed, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, all kind of in a raging bull market making new highs right now. All in the meanwhile Bitcoin is ranging and accumulating at all-time highs. Note this down right now, when NVIDIA subsides Bitcoin takes off. In fact, there's even a chart to conceptualize this. Type in Bitcoin USD over NVIDIA. In 2017 Bitcoin breaks out against NVIDIA from May to December. May to December is when Bitcoin USD goes ballistic. In October 2020, Bitcoin breaks out versus NVIDIA up until March 2021. That's the same exact period Bitcoin goes vertical. Now look at the Bitcoin chart right now. It's been insane, right? From 16 to 70,000. And yet still, the Bitcoin versus NVIDIA breakout has not occurred for this cycle. In fact, it's at its lowest level since 2017. So now one of two things happen with this chart. Either Bitcoin permanently dies against NVIDIA, meaning BTC either goes to zero or NVIDIA goes to infinity. Or, we're still yet to see that BTC slip versus NVIDIA, where the past times that has happened it garnered big upside versus the US dollar. Remember, stocks are going vertical, but Bitcoin is still in this range relative to last cycle. In other words, we're still yet to see this whole Bitcoin versus stock relationship develop for this cycle. This is a big reason I'm still very bullish on the crypto markets and altcoins, and have not yet called it quits. Recall a while back I stated that if your total portfolio can keep parity with the performance of Bitcoin up until the Bitcoin top, you will make a lot of money. So with BTC about 4x off lows, if your portfolio too is at least 4x off lows, that's perfect. As just like stock liquidity dumps into Bitcoin at its top, BTC liquidity goes into altcoins at its top. Keeping up with BTC at that moment is a monumental feat. If BTC tops 8x off lows, let's say it gets to 120,000, and your portfolio is at least 8x up at that time, you'll probably finish with a 20x at the very least. The next reason, however, I wouldn't fret about your altcoins is because I understand they're down significantly, but this also isn't too out of the norm. Let's take a look at bittensor for example. So Tau is one of my largest altcoin investments for this cycle, but since its top of around 750 made in early March, it's down almost 60%. This has a lot of people scared, and as it should. My entry also isn't exactly the best in the world. It's around $100. That means my investment multiplied by 8, but then got cut in half with its current price. That's quite the reduction to stomach, especially if you're not used to it. But again, this isn't abnormal. To me, bittensor will be one of the top projects this cycle, and if I look at those in the same bracket as it in previous cycles, they did the same thing. Something like a chain link, up 800% off lows then down 90. Solana I think is a phenomenal example. Project launches relatively unknown and forms a base. Same thing with Tau. Sol goes up 700% from that base and gives back 80%. Tau thus far has gone up 1500% from that base, giving back 60. Look at Terra Luna, up 5500% and dropped 80. But what came after all these moves were the actual pumps we so often refer to. Link going up thousands of percent, Solana going up thousands of percent. Even look at this dump for Sol, a 65% hit before a 1000% recovery. Luna going up 2000%. Point is, these drawdowns are normal and happen. Hear this message carefully. If you played the 2022-2023 bear market, you invested in certain projects because of a thesis. Don't doubt your abilities. There's a reason you allocated capital the way you did, being influenced by these daily candles in this chop, to the point of where you'd want to change your entire investment portfolio, is extremely disrespectful to all those hours you put in the last 2 years. That'd be like spinning a ball on a roulette table, and stopping the spin halfway through. It's easy to do but quite criminal. The only reason I'd be worried is if you invested in weakness. If you're in a Polygon or Algorand, whatever it is, making new all-time lows versus Bitcoin as we speak, then you change things up. I am all for switching positions on a dime, but that's only if there's significant evidence that things are shaping up bad. Otherwise, if it's just a hunch, maybe take a minute to think things through. Sign up to the Fair Desk Crypto Exchange for no KYC trading and huge bonuses. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and ease up on your worry about the crypto markets. It should be fine. And if it's not, we're all cooked, which in that case, does it really matter anyway?